Hello, third grade. We are going to do another note sheet with us. Now, this note sheet is going to become a very important note sheet, so you want to do it carefully because this note sheet is actually going to become the main thing that you're going to want to study for your test that's coming up next week, okay? So, your test that you're going to take is mainly going to be things that happen or people in government, and you're going to say whether that's local level, state level, or national level that does it. So this sheet's going to be very important that you pay attention to, okay? So that way we can go over it all um, to study. So we're going to fill this out together, okay? You can pause the video to write. You can also write shorter answers. As I'm writing, I'll show you some ways that we can write shorter answers here in the bottom to help make it go quicker. But let's just go through each of these things that are here at the top, and we're going to decide whether it's something that the local government, the state government, or the federal, or we often say, especially in third grade, national government. Okay, but remember, federal is just another word for national. Okay. Which level of government does that item? So, who builds and fixes state highways? Okay, so this is a state highway. So this would be like that highway that you're taking if you're going from Fort Smith to Fayetteville or to Little Rock or somewhere like that. Okay, so since it's a state highway, our clue's right there. So we're gonna write here in the state level, state highways. So that means when you have holes in the road that need to get fixed, if it's a state road, that's the state's job. So, let's go on to the next one. This next one's kind of tricky. It's collect taxes. Now, we just kind of started talking about taxes. We didn't really get into them before we went into our alternative learning days. But taxes are the money that the government collects so that way they can pay to have these things done. Because it costs money to make highways or to build hospitals or to even if our federal government has to go to war. All those things cost money. And the governments don't have any other way to collect money. So they collect taxes. So taxes are the money that we, as the people that live here, give the government to take care of us. Okay? So those taxes are based on how much property you own, also based on how much money you have, or how much money you make. So income taxes. Also, when you go to the store and you buy your supplies, you pay what's called a sales tax. Okay, so that goes to our local and state governments to help them get enough money. So collecting taxes, this one's tricky. This is something that all three levels of government do. So our local government collects taxes. If you want to just write taxes, that's okay. Okay. Our state government collects taxes, and our federal national government collects taxes. Okay? So all three levels of government collect tax. They just collect different kinds of tax, and they use those tax to pay for different things. Okay. Makes laws for their state. Oh, again, we have that word state, so that's an easy clue. Okay? So for state, states make state laws. We've talked about that a lot in class. That one should be really easy for you. Now, builds roads, hospitals, and schools for the community. Okay? So community means local. So, right here, we're going to put builds roads. Oh, let's add the word local roads. So builds local roads, hospitals, and schools. Okay? Now, let's go on. makes laws for the entire country. Oh, we've talked about this one a lot in class. So this one should be easy. If it's for the entire country, it's federal or national. So we can write country laws. Uh-oh, I think Mr. Fisherman's pin's running out. This may not be good. I may have to switch pins. Oh, there's running again. Okay. Then, build state parks. Oh, again, we have that clue word in here, right here. Build state parks. Okay? So that's obviously the state level, state parks. Now, let's see. I don't think we have it on here, but let's add a bonus. Who would build local parks? Who's responsible for that? The local government. So, like city parks like Creekmore Park here in Fort Smith, that's going to be a local park. But then you also have national parks. So think about most of our famous places in the country, like Yellowstone is considered a national park. Okay, that's something that the federal government takes care of. So let's add that there too, because that's just a good one to know. Okay, so again, all three levels of government do parks, but they're different kinds of parks. Okay, pay for kids to go to school. This one's a little tricky as well. Okay, now we didn't really get to talk about this in person. The federal government, this is one of those things that the U.S. Constitution doesn't talk about. It doesn't talk about school. So that means, we did talk about this, everything that's not in the U.S. Constitution is reserved for states to decide. So that means states pay for kids to go to public schools. But that's not the only place for public schools, okay? So public schools also get money from the local government. Now, it's important to remember and understand that, like us, at First Lutheran, we're a private school. So that means that we don't get money from the government. That's why your parents pay tuition money, because that's how we get our money to run. Okay, so the government only has to pay for people and for public schools. But if you want those extra things that a private school can be able to teach, like to be able to teach about Jesus, like we get to do, then we don't get to get local and state money. We have to collect it from your parents and stuff in tuition. Okay? Let's go on. Train an army to defend our country. Oh, okay, our country. So that's going to be federal government. So we're going to write train army, okay, to defend our country. Okay, next one. Provides a postal or mail system. Okay, if you know the mail, when you get the mail, that's called the U.S. Postal System, because the mail system is national. So our national government makes sure that we can get our mail. So that's the mail system. Well, we talked about this a little bit, but it was several weeks ago. Let's remember, if you remember this, actually we talked about this a little bit more when we were talking about the Civil War. The power to print currency or to print money. Only the federal government can print money, okay? And I'm actually going to make the dollar sign right here to make that shorter to write, okay? So states cannot print money, local government cannot print money, only the federal government can print money. Now the federal government really can't just go and say, oh, I want to make a whole lot more $100 bills and things. They have to have ways to back that money up. Again, that's something that we talk about when you get a lot older, but you need to know for now, for third grade, that only the federal government can print money. Now, build interstates. Okay, this is another kind of road. Okay, interstates, though, are roads that connect multiple states. So when we have that inter at the front of that word, that means it connects different states. So interstates. So since it's connecting more than one state, that means it's a road that's built by the federal government. So we're going to write interstates, but I'm going to write the word road after it, okay? So that way you remember that that's what it means. So interstate roads, okay? So interstate roads are national government, state highways are state, and then you have local roads like our city streets in Fort Smith, just other local ways to get around. Those are paid for by the local government. Okay, resolves problems in the community. So again, those are going to be our local courts, okay? Local courts equal local problems. So if I had a problem with my neighbor and I had to go to court over it, it's almost certainly not going to go to the state level and almost definitely not going to go to national level. It's a local problem. So our local city and county courts would take care of it, okay? If I had a problem with a state law or something on the state level, well, then I might go to the state Supreme Court. But our local courts are for local problems. Okay? Provides police, firefighters, trash, and electricity. Services like that. Okay? That is our local government. Okay? So police, firefighters. Okay? Trash. Now, we still pay for our trash. We pay for our electricity, but it's the local government that helps us get them. Electricity. Okay? Police and firefighters. Those are things that are paid for by our local taxes. It's free for us to have the police help us. It's free for us to have firefighters help us. But it's all because we pay tax money. Okay? The president. I know that you've probably all been hearing a lot from the president recently. So the president, as we know, is the national level. Okay? Remember, if I'm going too fast at any time, you can pause this and finish copying these down. Okay? The mayor is the local government leader. And the governor is the state level. Okay? Let's talk about... issues licenses. So if you're going to get a driver's license, or even you have to get a special license called a marriage license when you get married, okay? Those are issued by each state. That's why each state has their own driver's license. So Arkansas has a driver's license. Missouri has a different driver's license. Kansas has a different driver's license. Every state has their own driver's license. They have a lot of the same information on it, but every state has their own design. And every state decides exactly what gets included on the driver's license. Same thing with those marriage licenses, things like that. Even like if you need a hunting license or a fishing license, those are licenses that are still provided by the state level, okay? Sometimes the state level might use the local level to help give them to you, but those are still state licenses. So we're going to say issues licenses. Okay. Who can declare war with other nations? Is that something, can Fort Smith decide that we're going to go to war with another nation? Absolutely not. Can the state of Arkansas decide we're going to go to war with another nation? Absolutely not. The United States, with the power of Congress, okay, is the only way that we can declare official war on other nations. Okay? And the last one, run city parks. We already talked about parks, although I wrote it as PAC, so let's change that. PARKS. Okay? So our local parks, city parks, are run by the local government. Okay? So here now at the end is a great time to pause the video and finish answering all of this information. Okay, when you come for your work exchange on Sunday, you're going to bring this back to me, and we are going to exchange it out. So you'll give it to me, and I'll give you one with all the answers on it, so that way you can keep studying. Okay, so this is what I'll give you. I'll give you the answer version, so that way you can keep studying. Also, in the stuff that I sent home the first week, you have these cards, okay? So these are ways that you can practice. So this is a great way that you can quiz yourself. So you could cut these apart, okay? And the question, okay, you might need mom or dad or someone to help read it to you. But so like question number 1, who is the designated or chosen leader of the executive branch of the government at the national level? So who is the leader of the executive branch at the national level? It's the president. So I read these answers: mayor, governor, president. I think to myself, I remember what I've learned, what I've been studying in my notes, and I go, oh, it's the president, okay? So this is a great way that you can study for your test that's coming up next week. You do not get a grade for doing these. These are just something to help you study, okay? This is a great way that mom and dad could go through and they could write the correct answer on the back of the card for you. Okay, so then that way you could quiz yourself this week. You could read them and then you could turn it over and say, oh, do I have the right answer? So that's a great way to practice. Next week, you will take our test over this information, okay? So with that, I'll let you finish writing your notes. And then that is pretty much it for social studies this week. So have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions, and I can't wait to see your stuff getting submitted and turned in on Sunday. We'll talk to you later. Bye.